Hi there, we're at the Geneva Watch Days 2022 and we're visiting Bulgari, talking with Christophe Babin, the CEO of Bulgari, about the new watches from the brand. And there's quite a bit to look at. Jean-Christophe, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you and welcome to Geneva for this third edition, as you mentioned.
Merci. What are the main novelties for Bulgari this year?
Well, Bulgari is very focused on few but very strong icons, namely Octo and Bulgari for gentlemen, and Serpenti and Lucia for ladies. So Geneva is all about Octo and Serpenti, mostly. And Octo, being now an established icon, 8 years, 8 world records, the Golden Hand last year at the Geneva Watchmaking Grand Prix, many recognition, is really considered by the final client as an icon. And as such, it must go gold because we know that gold is very precious, very desirable, very expensive, but only the icons can really sell gold. If you're not an icon, as the cost of gold is high, people won't necessarily. So now that we've reached that gold status, an iconic status, we have decided to go gold with Octo. So the flagship of this new gold Octo collection I mentioned is coming as a very special 8 days skeleton power reserve watch. So something very unique, a new movement, and a totally new skeleton in terms of design, where we've tried really to match with the bridges the geometry of the indexes, so that the balance of the watch from an aesthetical standpoint is really perfect.
You can also see in terms of colors, the slate gray with the rose gold goes extremely well together. Looks really good.
Yeah,
and the links between where the strap used to be attached, there's some extra gold link in between, and I think on the wrist it looks really good.
Yeah, we wanted really, the Finissimo was born out of the obsession to offer gentlemen with the ultimate contemporary elegance, and thin. But thin is not enough.
But still 8 days.
Yeah, 8 days, which is very practical for a manual winning watch. Often manual winning watches are a bit criticized because with 2 or 3 days power reserve it's not so convenient. With 8 days you fix everything because it becomes a daily watch, and it allows obviously the watch to have a craftsmanship that a self-winning watch can hardly afford, and especially if you do a skeleton, it's difficult to have a skeleton combined with a rotating mass because you hide the skeleton, which is by nature a paradox.
Yeah.
Besides it, obviously we've developed a gold version of the Strand watch. It was born in titanium initially.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we added the one you wear. We added the steel 2 years ago.
Exactly, but that was the S edition.
Yeah,
slightly thicker.
Slightly thicker, but still world record in its category. But with 100 meters, a screw crown, so that it is also not only a daily watch but a sports watch. And so always building on this icon and the functionality, making a daily watch that is 100 meters, crown crown. We have developed both the rose and the yellow gold. There is more and more demand back to yellow gold. Yellow gold used to be the gold standard 30 years ago. Then there's been the massive tide in favor of rose gold, both in jewelry and watches, by the way. And today it's more balanced, so rose gold remains very important, but yellow gold in many markets, starting with the US, but not only, is with a strong demand. So for the watch, we have developed both the yellow and the rose gold, with the yellow being exclusive to the US initially, because it's the #1 market for yellow gold. But then, after the exclusivity, we'll rolling it out also to other market because yellow gold is quite universal. And last but not least, the chronograph. Finissimo is also the world's thinnest chronograph. Very successful chronograph, especially in the steel version. So maintaining the steel version dimensions and properties, we have developed this beautiful yellow gold case with alligator brown strap. Thus adding also the gold option for the chronograph. So today we have really a very comprehensive offering.
And it's not just a chronograph, it also has a second time zone.
Exactly, it's a GMT chronograph.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Thank you, precise.
Another detail that I also liked about the 8-day skeleton and the chronograph is that there's a leather strap, and in comparison to the previous editions, you have this metallic part, gold in this case, so the strap starts a little bit later and on the wrist.
So gold for Finissimo, but not only. You know that Bulgari has ever been very much connected with architecture. We have worked with world famous Japanese architect Sajima-san. She's working for us for some boutique facades. And so we are quite connected, we know each other very well. And so we agreed that she would design a special Octo Finissimo. And she has worked on a fully polished case first in stainless steel, which makes it very precious. And more even daring, I mean the dial is really like a, yeah, it looks like a mirror, but actually it's not a mirror, you know, it's frappé. But with micro frap, which provide with some
little dots or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it provides with a little texture, which is very subtle to the eye. So it's a limited edition, very precious. I would say extremely unisex, if not feminine, because fully polished. The mirror effect of the dial make it as much as well as it is a watch.
And this one is also a new edition of the aluminium watch?
Yeah, well, this is a kind of, it's a frappé dial as well. It's related to Bulgari, I would say, in fact that it's adding a different aspect and texture to the otherwise white dial of the Bulgari aluminium. And Sorayama, you know, again, is providing a masculine piece with a twist of femininity, because this treatment of the dial makes it a bit more subtle, a bit more delicate, a bit more gentle, whereas the basic Bulgari aluminium is more straightforward, is more plain, and is more contrasted. This one is, we're talking about unisex, but we can talk also about paired watches. So we have developed on the Bulgari line, which remains, I mean, a core icon of Bulgari. And so we've developed two black versions, one ladies and one gentleman, in a full DLC, which are really simple, daily, but strong character watches, which are adding, I mean, some character to the otherwise more classical Bulgari steel watch, which is purposely a bit more classical. And this black character, we wanted it also on Sedutory. Sedutory has been launched only 3 years ago, big success. A more daily watch than Tubogas, just because with a more traditional bracelet, it's felt by clients as something that you can wear every day, whereas Serpenti Tubogas, because of the structure, is more felt as a jewel. Doesn't mean that you don't wear it every day, but it addresses, I would say, different clients. And so we've decided to make it a bit more edgy. The existing lineup is made of steel and gold, and so we decided to go black DLC, but to contrast it, however, with pink gold on the bezel, with or without diamonds, so that to offer a more edgy version. And this is...
and the Tubogas also comes in the same color scheme?
Yeah, but this one is in ceramics. And with also this look, which immediately provide you with a family feeling on Serpenti, whether it's a Sedutory or a Tubogas. This one we call it Spiga because it's not exactly the Tubogas technology, but the principle is exactly the wraparound watch. Again, more edgy purposely than a more classical Tubogas made of steel or steel and gold or gold.
And then I see a tourbillon.
Yeah, obviously a twist of black, you know, on the famous Sedutory tourbillon.
Black diamonds around?
Yeah, exactly. Those tourbillon was born in Dubai, LVMH Watch Week in 2020. Yeah. Exactly, just because it's a homemade Bulgari tourbillon. It's a manual winding, and this tourbillon watch gets to, well, it has different finishes. This is, I would say, in absolute, I mean, the most sophisticated one, as you can see, with full pavé diamond and those black inserts, again, meant to make it more contemporary than a purely diamond set jewelry watch. So it's a kind of flagship of Seductory, combining the tourbillon, the diamonds, but also finishes, which in terms of character make it, let's say, I would say a bit younger, a bit more contemporary than its sister in full pavé. So those are the main novelties.
Sounds very good. Already looking forward to next year. Thanks, Jean-Christophe.
Thanks so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks to all the team.